Chapter 9. The Battle Joined. As the early rays of dawn cast long shadows across the desert landscape, Selenia and Lucas stood resolute, gazing at the horizon where their destinies were being forged in the crucible of interstellar intrigue. The night's work had armed them with a deception, a shield woven from cunning and technology, but the looming confrontation was inevitable. Their plan had been simple, yet daring: mislead the emissaries with a falsified signal while preparing to defend themselves against the eventual discovery of their ruse. Now, the silence of the desert morning was thick with anticipation, each moment stretching taut as they waited for the emissaries to make their next move. Lucas checked the array of makeshift defenses they had cobbled together. Despite his lack of experience with alien technology, his skills as a mechanic had proven invaluable. He had rigged a series of traps around the perimeter of his property, combining earthly ingenuity with the alien tech salvaged from Selenia's ship. "Feels like we're setting up for a showdown at high noon," he muttered, half to himself. Selenia, standing beside him, adjusted the settings on a small, intricate device that was now linked to their main defensive system. "In many ways we are," she replied, her voice calm, but her eyes intense with focus. "But we fight not just for ourselves, but for this world, your world, that has given me refuge." The tension broke momentarily when Lucas smiled at her, a brief flash of warmth in the cool desert air. "Then let's make sure we win." The quiet of the morning was shattered suddenly by the whine of engines as the emissary's vessel appeared on the horizon, sleek and ominous as it approached. They had deciphered the ruse, their approach now aggressive and determined. Selenia and Lucas took their positions, each armed with a device designed to disrupt the ship's navigation systems temporarily. As the ship drew closer, Selenia's hands flew over her device, her fingers precise and sure. Lucas watched, ready to activate his part of the system on her signal. With a deep breath, Selenia initiated the pulse. A wave of energy surged from their setup, invisible but potent, aimed at the oncoming vessel. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the ship wobbled, its smooth trajectory faltering as the pulse found its mark. "Now, Lucas!" Selenia shouted over the hum of their equipment. Lucas hit the switch. The traps he had set around the perimeter activated, sending up a series of barriers, fields of energy that distorted light and confused sensors. The ship, caught off guard by the sudden defensive measures, struggled to correct its course. Inside the vessel, the emissaries worked frantically to regain control, their mission of capture now compromised. They had underestimated the resourcefulness and resolve of their quarry, a mistake that cost them precious time. On the ground, Selenia and Lucas didn't wait to see if the emissaries would recover. They moved quickly to the next phase of their plan, using the cover provided by the energy barriers to reposition and prepare for a possible ground assault. As the ship managed to stabilize and land a distance away, the emissaries emerged, their expressions hidden behind their visors, but their intentions clear in their swift, purposeful movements. They were fewer in number than expected, a fact that played in Selenia and Lucas's favor. The battle that ensued was a blur of motion and energy. Selenia, using her advanced combat training, engaged the emissaries with a grace and ferocity that belied her slender frame. Lucas, though less experienced in combat, held his own, using the environment to his advantage and supporting Selenia's movements with tactical precision. The fight was intense, pushing both Selenia and Lucas to their limits. But as the sun climbed higher, casting stark light over the battlefield, the tide turned. The emissaries, realizing they were outmatched and unable to call for reinforcements due to the continued disruption of their communications, finally retreated, their ship lifting off and disappearing into the brightening sky. Breathing heavily, Selenia and Lucas watched the ship vanish. The immediate threat gone, but the larger conflict still looming. They had won the battle, but the war, the silent, shadowy war for control and survival, was just beginning. As they turned to walk back to the house, their shoulders touched lightly, a silent acknowledgement of the bond that had been forged in the heat of battle. They were allies by circumstance, friends by choice, and warriors by necessity. The path ahead was uncertain, full of dangers and decisions, but they faced it together, their resolve unbroken, their spirits indomitable. Chapter 10. Choosing Home. The battle's echoes had long since faded, absorbed by the vast desert which now lay tranquil under the expansive cerulean sky. Lucas and Selenia walked back to the homestead, their footsteps synchronized, each step imprinting the sandy earth as if marking the path of their newfound destiny. The sun was gentle today, its light not harsh, but warming, caressing the land with the tender touch of a serene mid-morning. Lucas glanced at Selenia, noticing the contemplative look on her face as she surveyed the horizon. The desert, with its rugged beauty and relentless challenges, had become more than a backdrop to her. It was now a landscape she could call home. "Selenia, what are you thinking about?" Lucas asked, breaking the comfortable silence that had settled between them. She turned to him, her eyes reflecting the deep, infinite sky. "I am thinking about roots and wings," she said thoughtfully. "Back home, I always felt the pull to explore, to soar, but here, with you, I feel a grounding, a sense of place I hadn't anticipated." Lucas listened intently, his heart both swelling with hope and contracting with a fear he hadn't fully acknowledged, the fear of her possible departure. Selenia continued, "I have the power to reach out to my kind, to ask for extraction from this world, to return to where I came from." She paused, searching his face for a reaction. "And will you?" His voice was steady, but his grip tightened around the tools he still carried from their earlier adjustments to the defensive perimeters. She smiled, a slow, radiant expression that seemed to brighten the already luminous day. "I've made my decision. This planet, your world, it's become more than a mere refuge from the vastness of space. It's become a home I never expected to find." Relief washed over Lucas, visible in the way his shoulders relaxed, and his next breath came easier. "You're staying?" "Yes, Lucas, I'm staying," Selenia affirmed. "This battle, the challenges we've faced, they've shown me that my journey isn't about escaping to the stars but finding a home among them. And I found that here, with you." The moment was pivotal, a turning point sealed with her words. They continued their walk back to the house, each step lighter than the last. The homestead came into view, its exterior battered by the desert winds but standing resilient, much like them. As they reached the porch, Selenia stopped and turned to Lucas. "I want to contribute here, use what I know to help, to blend the knowledge of my world with the beauty of yours." Lucas nodded, his eyes bright with ideas and excitement. "We could start with the community. There's so much they can learn from you, and I bet they'd offer us their support too." The days that followed were a flurry of activity. Selenia took to her new role with vigor, meeting with community leaders, sharing her knowledge of sustainable technologies, and even demonstrating some of her planet's less intrusive gadgets. Lucas was by her side, a mediator between her world and his, always ready to lend a hand or offer an explanation. Their efforts weren't unnoticed. The community, initially wary, soon warmed up to the alien in their midst, intrigued and grateful for the insights and advancements she brought. Selenia, in turn, thrived on the interaction, on the acceptance that blossomed from mutual respect and shared goals. One evening, as the sun set in a spectacular display of oranges and purples, Lucas and Selenia stood outside, watching the horizon swallow the day. "I used to think of home as a place in the stars," Selenia mused, her voice soft with wonder. "But now, I see it's also here, in the warmth of the sun, in the strength of the earth, and in the hearts of those who share it with me." Lucas reached for her hand, squeezing it gently. "And here," he added, placing her hand over his heart. "Always here." As night fell, they looked up at the stars, the celestial bodies shining brightly, silently witnessing the birth of a new chapter on the tiny, vibrant planet they watched over. Here on Earth, Selenia had found more than shelter. She had found a purpose, a partnership, and a home. Epilogue: Starfall Symphony. In the vast, quiet expanse of the desert, where the sand whispers secrets of millennia and the stars gaze down with ancient light, there stands a small, unassuming homestead. Its walls, tempered by time and elements, hold the laughter, fears, and dreams of its inhabitants. Here, under the expansive canvas of the night sky, the final notes of a profound journey hum softly, a gentle symphony of interstellar and terrestrial harmonies. The years have been kind to Lucas and Selenia, gifting them with peace and a deepening bond that transcends worlds. Their home has become a sanctuary not only for them, but for many who seek to understand the balance between Earth and the stars. Around them, the community has flourished, evolving into a vibrant nexus of innovation and tradition, a testament to the union of different worlds. Tonight, like many nights before, they gather outside, a small assembly of family and friends, both human and from realms beyond. The occasion is simple yet deeply significant, an annual viewing of the meteor shower, known locally as the Starfall Symphony. This celestial event, once a mere astronomical phenomenon, now symbolizes the harmony and beauty of their blended existence. As the first meteors streak across the dark velvet sky, Selenia stands beside Lucas, her hand in his, her eyes reflecting the starlight. Her skin, once the texture of soft metallic scales, now carries a subtle glow, a physical manifestation of her life among humans, yet she retains the ethereal essence of her origin. "Look, Lucas," whispers a young boy at her side, tugging at her sleeve with wide, awe-filled eyes. He is their adopted son, born of the earth, but raised under the tutelage of the stars. His enthusiasm brings a smile to Selenia's face, a reminder of her first days on this planet, filled with wonder and a touch of fear. "Yes, Jonah," she replies, her voice soft with affection. "The stars are singing to us." Lucas, ever the engineer, has rigged a special audio installation for this event, a series of devices that capture the frequencies emitted by the meteors, transforming them into a symphony of sounds. Low hums, high-pitched chimes, and the soothing whoosh of the meteor's descent blend into a melody that resonates across the desert, turning the visual spectacle into an auditory masterpiece. As the night deepens and the shower reaches its peak, the music swells, a crescendo that feels both alien and familiar. Around them, the gathered friends and neighbors are silent, lost in the beauty of the moment, a shared experience that unites them regardless of origin. Later, as the last notes of the Starfall Symphony fade into silence, the group begins to disperse, each person carrying with them a sense of wonder, a snippet of cosmic music. Selenia and Lucas linger, their gazes fixed on the heavens. "It never ceases to amaze me," Lucas says, his voice a blend of reverence and scientific curiosity. "Nor I," Selenia agrees. "To think that such beauty was always here, waiting to be heard." They talk, then, of plans for the future, of the community that has grown around them, and of the lessons they will pass on to Jonah and others like him. Lessons of resilience, curiosity, and the importance of bridging worlds. As the dawn begins to lighten the eastern sky, casting the first pale hues of morning across the desert, Selenia leans against Lucas, her thoughts drifting to the countless dawns she witnessed from the deck of her spacecraft, each one a solitary moment in the void. Now, each dawn is a shared experience, rich with life and the promise of a new day. This symphony, of stars, of lives intertwined, of a future continuously unfolding under the watchful eyes of the universe, is their legacy. A composition of light and sound, hope and love, played out on the stage of an unassuming desert planet, a melody that, once heard, resonates forever in the heart.